My name is Jesse Kiuru and I can help you to make better events. Personally, I got into event business roughly 20 years ago. Since I produced tens of events, participated in hundreds of events and read up on thousands of events, I've experienced the outcome of event productions show up too often as just good customer experience. It's not good. This is usually due to poor planning or failing to communicate plans to others. We deserve better events. For that, we need better event planning. There are a bunch of great event production and project management apps available around, but I never found a perfect app for event planning. This is why I came up with my Bonacube app, to create a perfect fit for me, to help me to plan and produce better events more efficient and effective. Let's take a closer look why we should pay more attention to better event planning and in our event productions, and also how my Bonacube app works while planning and doing events.
I think we all want to get better results with less effort, whatever we do in our life. Same applies of course for events we produce. We want to maximize our event income and impact and minimize our event input or costs. That's also a purpose of Bonacube app. Better quality but less effort. For sure, there are many motives to run event projects. Some may want to just take the money and run. Trying to maximize the revenues with minimum costs means always poor event quality, and I promise, it will be an expensive strategy in long term. It's better to target for the great quality, and with quality I mean quality experienced by our customers. Customer experience. As we know, at the end of the day, they are the ones to say if our event was good or bad, not us. Great quality is the key for bigger revenues over time. Bonacube app will help us to plan event productions from customer point of view. Less effort stands for better efficiency. More productivity means either better cost efficiency or less time spent on different tasks around event planning and production. That's where we need good tools to help us to do great. I've seen and been to too many event organizations that fail in planning. But how do we know that there is something wrong with our event planning? Here's a few things I call myself old school planning. 1. Endless roundtable planning sessions and workshops where moderator tries to pick up the essential things for session minutes. 2. Putting too much effort for publishing documents, spreadsheets and presentations on organization cloud service. Don't get me wrong, planning is great, but are we always able to count on it that others find, understand and act the right planning files? 3. Emails. No, just don't do planning or delegate plans via inboxes. 4. Too many cooks making a soup. Meaning planning responsibility for same task is divided to more than 2 persons. 5. Making too complicated instructions. 6. Planning by doing. And yes, I could add a few more, but I think you got my point. There are better ways. I feel it's better to keep things short and simple, also in event planning. My vision with Bonacube app is to give event producers tools to plan event productions more effective and efficient. Meaning better productivity not only in event planning but also in preparation, implementation and live event operation stages, thanks to better plans. The vision of Bonacube app is stated here. An hour of planning saves you 10 hours of doing. Organizing events is quite simple. If we break any event into tiny pieces, we only find few kinds of things that are connected to each other with idea, event content and processes or management tools. That's why, what and how of events. These few kinds of things can be categorized to either space, staff, stuff or support service. This is pretty much the way I think and do events by myself. For me, the toughest part has always been transferring my vision, ideas and plans to actions, services and experiences provided to our event customers. Great planning means nothing if we don't reach our targets for return on experience. That is because there are so many things that may go wrong during the process. A good way to look at this is called customer event journey. There are tens of different steps or touch points on that journey that affects to our customer satisfaction and experience. Every single step or touch point needs to be produced. And that's where Bonacube App is at its best, helping us to make the right things right in event planning, to relieve the stress or uncertainty for knowing that everything is planned and that there is a good way to spread the information for everyone involved in other phases of event project. One important thing with Bonacube App is that users are able to decide how deep they want to go with their planning. App gives us the structure, but we as users make the decisions. Planning details is often a key for being able to provide excellent customer experience. By going into details in planning, we are able to better optimize our impact ratio in terms of event return on investment and return on experience. By going into details in planning, we are able to get to the right point planning production elements for creating better customer experience and killing the devils from the details. Remember our vision, saving 10 hours of doing by planning 1 hour with Bonacube App. If you have in your event portfolio a lot of similar events or arrange events regularly, you are able to leverage the value by just copying the best event production plans for multiple events. For example, you may share global event concept with production plan for your local organizers to make their life easier. You may use your event plan as a template for your other events as well. You may adjust and tune the details for your next similar event to improve. You may use event plan with production budget for evaluation production costs of possible new events and new event concepts. Great that you are still there. I will explain the logic of Bonacube App in the following few slides. It's good to start from basics. For me, the magic in event planning is combining event design to elements of event production. With Bonacube App, you are able to do this in one single place. When designing events, we pay attention, or at least we should pay attention to customer experience. We do that by designing services, acts, operations, experiences, and touch points along our customer's journey with us. The more detailed we go, better odds we have for providing extraordinary customer experience to our guests, visitors, and other target groups. In Bonacube App, we use terms like storyboard, stages, and steps to assist event producers and their teams in effective event planning. After setting up the framework properly, we are able to plan event production into smallest detail if we just wish. For me, planning production operations means adding production building blocks to design framework. In my mind, these building blocks belong to either main categories of space, staff, or support service. As these 4 S-letter things can be seen as costs in our event budget, with Bonacube App we are able to optimize our resources to meet better the target outcome we have set for the part of the event we are planning. Like with any digital tool, it's essential that everyone is involved and playing along. When keeping all essential plans affecting event preparation, event implementation, and event delivery in one place, it's more likely that we make things happen the way we like, which of course is a positive thing for even better return on investment and on a return on experience of our events. Here we have an example event team with few key persons. We have an event director responsible for the event in general. We have a CXO, a title we should see most often, who is responsible for operations related to customer experience for different customer groups. He basically owns the content of the event. Then we have a CEO, Chief Operational Officer, who is responsible for running the operations like venue management, staff sourcing, staffing, or managing supplier networks. Then we have a person who is responsible for providing services for a specific target group. Here we have a person called Chief of Media, which is a very common title in major sports events, for example. And the fifth person in my example is a service provider, for example a project manager of a video production company. Let's see where is the P for them. When we are planning services, experiences, or other operations to our target group, it's essential that all people responsible for a customer experience of a specific target group can give their input for the event design in practice. Different event roles are interested in different aspects of designing the customer experience, like in this example of media attending to our event. As a head of event, I'm interested that things we provide are according to our main goals, vision and master plan. On the other hand, when working as a chief of media, I'm more interested in practical details along the event journey of my customers. And if we have a person like CXO, it's highly productive to synchronize insights, plans and policies with other sectors as well. In Bonacube App, there is a feature called Storyboard to help this event team to make event designing that is easy to share to others and quick to adjust, tune and improve along the planning process. We do this by using platforms called Storyboard, States and Steps, helping you to guide your planning. It's basically up to user how she or he wants to use these platforms, but personally I use Storyboard to split my event customers to smaller customer groups, like for example spectators, media, teams, partners or volunteers. Then I split with stages customers' event journey to smaller pieces, like ticketing, arrival to venue, eating and drinking, and so on. Again, each stage consists of smaller and more detailed steps that you need to provide to your customers. Bonacube App calls these steps. The smaller pieces you break the stages, the easier and more precise your planning process will be. To organize a successful event, we need to design and plan the event content appealing to our guests or customers. To provide this content, we need a place that is set up properly. In organizing any event, we also need a great number of products for different purposes in different parts of event production. Usually, events attract a large number of guests on site. This means that we need also our own people to do all kinds of tasks around the event. Some tasks are often too complicated to care for our own staff. In those cases, there are professionals we can hire to do those tasks for us. As said before, I categorize these building blocks to either space, staff or support service. So does Bonacube App. There is a place to manage all items you own or have got through contracts, and also items you don't have but need in your event productions eventually. For sure, you are able to import any other items as well here. In Bonacube App, this place is called Event Bank, which will be a very useful place for our chief of operations and persons responsible for different product categories, staff groups, venues and service providers. Making most of your event resources is essential to cost efficiency, and it will be the easiest place to make money, just by saving it. Planning an event production with Bonacube App is quite simple. Just combine resources to your storyboard, stages and steps and find out what you need to source or get. Do this by listing all pieces of space, staff and support service you need for a production of a specific step of your event. At the same time, you give essential information for implementation. Like in this example from the app, we have a planning summary for a step called press conference setup. That is one part of a stage called press conferences, which again belongs to Storyboard of Media. Good thing with having this planning process in one place is that all relevant people are able to do this together with the same tool. They can adjust and tune this plan to fit best for their input-output outcome impact scenario and add all key information and instructions available for preparation, implementation and live event operations. When they are satisfied, they just confirm the plan and move it forward for real production. For example, to our partners or suppliers, instead of some Excel sheets, we are able to provide them information directly from our current plan with all relevant information related to a specific item in question. There is many ways we may filter information from our plans. There is so much information around and available in event organizations normally, but for making things happen, the most essential is to spread and share information that is relevant for the receiver. Steal one screenshot from the Bonacube app and the section called Dashboard. At least the heads of events who are responsible for the projects are always very interested in knowing how are we doing. I guess that's one of the most common questions I always asked from my team. When using a Bonacube app for planning, I am able to get this answer from the planning process with one look. I'm able to get progress reports of our planning process. I'm able to get notifications of topics and issues to look again regarding missing or incomplete information. I'm also able to see how we are doing with different resources we have, like staff inventory or staff matrix or whatever. That was a few examples how Bonacube app could help you to plan and produce better events. If you got interested, just leave a comment below, give me a thumb, and of course visit bonacube.com to find out more. No doubt you will love this app if you plan from customer point of view. Planning all details of your event, thinking of your customers is the only way to win on your share on their time, wallet and attention. All steps along your customer event journey affect their customer experience. It's cool that we as event producers are the ones who are able to affect the tone and strength of these experiences. No doubt you will love this app if you prefer thinking logically. Deeper you go, better you understand the causality of your planned things and get rid of things that are irrelevant for your outcome and impact targets, and pay attention more to the most important ones. Don't just assume. As some says, assuming makes an ass out of you and me. Couldn't agree more. No doubt you will love this app if you believe Leonardo da Vinci saying details make perfection and perfection is not a detail. Or from another point of view, devil is in the details. However, managing details is often the difference between good and great, success and failure. Which one would you prefer? Would you save 10 hours of doing by using Bonacube app?